My favourite time of the week. Timmy, start deep. Dive.
That was a good lift from you, mate.
Thank you.
Good solo lift.
Han Solo.
Yeah.
The first crusher. Let's go.
I'm starting hot this week, Roo.
Yeah.
Scott
Oh,
Drinkwater.
I'm interested.
Yeah. Scott Drinkwater. So I want to look at Drinky's floor. There's a bit of a myth around, Drinky can go low when he doesn't get attacking stats. He can punch out 30s and 40s, which may have been true back in the day a few years ago, but it just hasn't been in recent years. What I wanted to really get to the bottom of it as someone interested in potentially buying him this week. So last week, there were no tries or no try assists for Scott Drinkwater, 78 points, which is outstanding, obviously, but it could be a one-off. I had a look at 2024 season, games without any tries or try assists. He had scores of 49, 81, 59, 57 and 48 for an average of 58.8. For an attack-reliant player, that is pretty good going. Note also, he didn't goal kick in this period. He had one conversion as a one-off, but that's all right. His next 5 games are also played in Queensland, 4 of them in Townsville. I was interested to see that his home average last year in Townsville was 77.75, down on his 79 season average. So actually averaged a little bit more away from home, which is a bit reassuring. But yeah, all signs point to a drink.
Mate, I came in today thinking that I was going to make the move of Gutho to him. And I was a little bit 50-50 on it, but those stats, they talk to me. They sing to me. I'm very, very interested. We'll get to our trades very soon, but Drinkwater is one that I'm very, very keen on and will likely trade in this week. Going to zig while others zag. It's not my biggest zag of the week. Save that for later. Some big old zag coming. But Scott Drinkwater, one that I'm considering. Let's talk about Paul Brandy Alamotti on the wing for the Panthers. Talk to me.
I really like Alamotti as a pod on the right wing at the Panthers. So he's played 3 games this season with Nathan Cleary and Dylan Edwards. He's had scores in that time of 69, 19 and 105. The 19, that was that game 2 weeks back where he had a sin bin. There were 14 in negative stats. Not his night, so be it. So he's got a 63-point average in the 3 games with Dylan Edwards and Nathan Cleary on the right wing. In those games, he's had 34 in base, 17.4 runs per game. Mate, the Panthers are just going to pepper that right edge, I reckon, with Dylan Edwards back. We know that's where he attacks. It's the edge of Nathan Cleary. We saw him score a double there last week. The 2 tries he scored were pretty well untouched from memory as well. I'd probably have to bypass Billy Smith to do it, when you look at the money and all that, I don't know if it's worth the risk, but I really like the Alamotti play.
I don't mind it. I wouldn't be doing it at the expense of Billy Smith, though, in my opinion. I think the money to be made on Billy Smith, and I think the points you'll get from Billy Smith will be handy as well. But Paul Alamoti, I don't mind it.
He has a break-even of 56, so it's not a move that has to be made this week as such. The 105 is in his rolling average. The 19 will drop out of that rolling average the week before, so that break-even will be very low come next week, pending what happens, of course, against the Sea Eagles. They do have a bye in round 11, but look, maybe it's one where I just go, get through round 11, get to round 12, which Penrith play. Granted, Cleary and Edwards will be out, which doesn't help, but look to jump on him then. But yeah, I think there's some good scores incoming for Paul Alamoti.
Is there any concern about him, like if he moves back to centre,
Yes,
which
there
I
is.
think there's every chance he could. I'm a bit surprised he's continued to play wing. I would have thought, personally, if I was coaching them, I would have moved him to left centre 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I found that bizarre how they haven't made that change. To'o to come back in, so you would assume that probably means Jenkins drops out of the side, but
Jenkins or McLean.
Jenkins, well, one of them has to drop out, and it wouldn't surprise me if it does mean that Alamotti does potentially move to left centre eventually. I mean, Isaac Tungo was dropped out of the side last week too, so I'd prefer him on the wing. If he does move to centre, I wouldn't be stoked about it.
The bye, not say... You get there, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, yeah, good.
Giddy up.
Yeah. Not to say he wouldn't score well and go decently at centre on either side, but the buy of Paul Alamoti is being on the right wing.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right, let's talk about little Pappy and his hoof. Talk to me.
Little Pappy's hoof. Do you know what we're getting at here?
I do now. I thought it was an autocorrect to roof, but let's go. Hoof. Talk to me.
Goal kicking.
Yeah.
Nick Meaney back this week.
Yeah.
Who goal kicks? So nobody knows as it stands. Pappy probably knows. Meaney probably knows. Craig Bellamy probably knows. But we don't know. we can only look at stats and percentages in the past. So in 2025, Ryan Papenhuyzen, he's hitting them well. A 90.5% conversion rate this season. He's got a career average of 80.4%. Nick Meaney in 2025, also hitting them well. 84.6% conversion rate. His career at the Storm as a goal kicker since 2022 is 77.1%, so a little bit down on Pappy's career average. Over at the Dogs a few years back now, had a lot of kicks there and he was 72.8%. Who goal kicks do we think? And worth noting as well, Meaney coming back from a jaw injury, so it's not like it's a foot or knee or hammy or whatever, so that shouldn't impact it. What do we reckon?
I apologise for being not overly helpful. I have not the slightest idea. Genuinely. I'm not a Ryan Papenhuyzen owner, so I haven't paid attention to it overly closely as much as most of you guys have, as much as you have, Timmy. But I mean, Meaney, he goal kicked last year, didn't he? Over
He
Pappy?
did, but that, like, Pappy originally goal kicked for the Storm with Meaney there, but then he had his injuries.
Yeah.
So when he was coming back from these injuries, Meaney was just there, safe and hitting them. So Pappy's basically regained them with Meaney out, and he's hitting them unbelievably well.
Well, based on that, it sort of says Pappy to me, but neither will surprise me. I think there's every chance we won't know unless, well, if I was Pappy, I'd be saying it on that podcast because that'll get it another 100,000 hits this week. But in fact, I'm confident we will know it on the podcast. He's smart enough to know what to do there.
He's good at what he does.
He's very good at what he does.
But yeah, look, my gut says Pappy kicks just because he's been hitting him so well. But it'd be not that it's going to change any trade plans or Pappy plans. I'm holding on to him indefinitely, but it does impact captaincy plans, which is important.
Nope, just put on the wide shot, which has an empty chair in it. Good to see. Okay, let's go to, you've got Cleary Origin here. Is this a bold prediction from Tim Williams that Nathan Cleary's going to play Origin this year?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go out on a limb, mate, and it's I know people will hate it, but I think he will.
Big call on Jet Cleary.
No. Mate, this one's actually via the SC Playbook WhatsApp chat from Maxi Bryden, dropped it in there last
One of the greats.
night. And it's just doing a bit of Origin buy planning, casting an eye ahead. Cleary, Penrith have the bye in round 11.
Yep.
So he'll obviously not be playing there. Round 12, Origin, so he won't be playing there. Round 13, they back up from Origin. It's a Sunday game. Barring any knocks in Origin, I would imagine he backs up from that one. Round 14 against the Tigers will be good for that. Round 15 has the Panthers have the bye and he's on Origin duty, so no game there. Round 16 backs up from Origin on the Saturday, which is in New Zealand after a game Origin in Perth. So you would suggest, especially with already having had a hammy issue this year, unlikely.
Is that the longest flight in rugby league outside of Vegas?
Far out,
It'd have to
isn't
be,
it?
wouldn't it?
Jeez.
That's a nudge.
Perth should NZ.
Yeah, that's a huge nudge.
Bulldogs in round 17, he'll play there. Round 18, they're on the bye. And then round 19, post-Origin 3, Parramatta probably plays that. Maxie goes on to say, in 9 games from round 11, he looks like he'll play 4 of them, including 2 games where he backs up. Hughes and Nico will both play 7 of 9 rounds in the same period. So, not that you're going to act differently now and etc. You probably buy him if you don't have him. But just one to note that Cleary to Hughes in a few weeks' time, that could really be on the cards.
Yeah, huge one to note there. Only playing 4 games in that period. That could be a big concern. Connor Tracy, talk to me about the Canterbury Bulldogs fullback, mate.
Short and sharp, mate. I've spoken about him before. Not the deepest of dives, but he's averaging 18.6 runs per game, 3 tackle busts per game. He's had 4 tries and 2 try assists, averaging a very healthy 64 points per game. Dual CT dub fullback. Broncos this week in Queensland into the Titans, Raiders, Roosters, Dolphins. He plays rounds 12, 15 and 18, the 3 major bye rounds. You could do a lot worse than Connor Tracy. He might not have the big upside or the big ceiling, but this dog side of firing, he has great bye coverage, his dual position, he ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, bloody oath. I think the point there, you could do much worse than Connor Tracy. Yeah. Very good.